So I'm going to go live there too. Okay. And just drop it here in a second so it doesn't distract me as soon as it gets started. I am super excited to be back here with you guys and very much interested. I'm muted. Okay, I'm really excited to be back here with you guys. I got it going live on YouTube, so it's there for recording if anybody needs it later. And because I've been gone for the last couple of weeks, and because this is the first week of July, and we've got a special going on right now, I think that
Read the description if you want
I
to.
think what might be most helpful is for us to just jump in with what questions you've got. What type of things can we cover today that will be most helpful to you guys? So you showed up to this call for a purpose and a reason. If you don't have a question, just drop in the chat. What were you hoping to get out of the time today? What were you hoping to get out of the time and the call time today with us? I know we have a variety of folks here that are brand new to folks that are seasoned and experienced. So I want to make this time a good use for you. This is a workshop. So typically what I like to do is I will offer to audit anyone's social media content. So if you're here and you're like, hey, do that for me, go do a quick audit. And we collectively as a group will provide positive feedback as well as constructive feedback on what can work on social media. Of course, what we are doing here together is we are learning ways to capture our audience in social media, engage our audience, to develop that relationship of relatability, connectivity, and trust, so that when we are recommending things like Amari products, then they are buying from us. I put together a little document for you guys, and I'm happy to drop that in the chat as well while I'm waiting for any volunteers. Let me get this link for you. This I will add to, but I just started writing together. We have a lot of videos on Basic 101, how to get started on social media, what to do and what to not do, how to create content, all of those kinds of things. But sometimes I get it. Folks are too busy to stop and watch a video. Every time I leave Zoom, it mutes me. So every time I leave to go, it does not understand the marvelous multitasker that I am. And every time I step away from my Zoom page to go to another page, it mutes me with you guys. So I don't know if that's like a new Zoom feature or what, but not digging it. So what I was saying is we have a lot of videos where we have done training on Basic 101 social media, and they're very good. I've done this training. Beck Sadik has done this training, because you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know it until I learned it either. And none of us here knew it until we learned it. But the reality is not everybody sees what we post on social media. It is free rent space for us. But what worked 5 years ago, 10 years ago on social media of selling things and showing pictures of products and specials and all that kind of stuff does not work today. It does not work today. The algorithm is working against you and your audience is not interested in it. There's too much advertising happening on social media today that wasn't years ago, and it just doesn't work. So we have to learn what are the things to do that works. So we teach attraction marketing, transformation selling, creating that relationship, marketing yourself and who you are and what you care about as ways to capture your audience, to get more views, to hack the algorithm, and to get more engagement, which can convert into sales. And so I put together, because I know sometimes people don't have time to watch videos. So I put together a list of what are some of the most common do's and don'ts that I recommend for someone regarding social media that we know works to help them a little bit better. So hang on one second. I'm going to drop this in the chat for you. So there's that Google document. You don't have to look at it right now. You can look at it later, but it also could be a good place for you as you're enrolling a new person to just help them get set with what works and what doesn't work today in the world of social media. So let's jump in and hit me with what questions you have. Again, I know some of you are brand new here. Krista, I know you've got your hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Laura.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like I'm doing really good as far as like understanding the algorithm and I'm getting a lot of traction. But what I am struggling with the most is once you are getting the likes and people are following your stories and have consecutively been following you, I'm struggling on the transition from building up the relationship to then putting in the business or the products, or I'm struggling with that transition. And I don't know if other people do too, but that's where I really struggle.
Yeah. Yes. Renee, and is it Sedalia? Ah, good.
It's me. Hi.
Yes, good to see you. Good to meet you. They raised their hand too. So let's talk about that. Give me a real life example, Krista. Give me someone that maybe they responded to something and then you said this and then what happened? Give me a real life example to work with.
Well, I just feel like I have a lot of conversations going with people, and I haven't even made that transition to even bring up the business or to even bring up the products,
Mhm.
where it's just the friendly, everyday chatting type conversations, and I'm not getting past that.
Okay.
I feel like that's been the whole thing for me is unless they specifically come out and ask me, I don't get past that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I do know what you mean. So tell me this, are you in these friendly conversations? Are you at a point yet with them where you know of any need that they have? Do you know of any need or problem that they have?
I mean, maybe some of them, but I don't think I've got in that deep
Uh-huh.
with them yet. I just feel like it's been like more the happy conversations of, family stuff and just seems so happy where it hasn't went to that like where, oh my gosh, I'm so tired all the time. Or it's like they haven't given me a complaint yet and I don't know how to dig in to see how it could benefit them, especially strangers that I'm meeting and building up, because I'm meeting a lot of new people. That's kind of my goal. It's finding new people and building up those relationships, which I understand can take longer. But when and how do you make that switch?
Yeah. So, have they responded to anything that you've posted where
Yeah,
you've talked about some of your struggles?
yeah, I get a lot of like replies and comments and a lot of action on my profile now since I started the social media training. Um, it's just, I just keep the conversation. I feel like going on the post and have a hard time then moving it to the direct messages. And maybe it's just a confidence thing with me, feeling like I don't want to scam them. And I know I'm not going to scam them, but I don't want to sound salesy. Like people don't like that.
Okay. I'm typing a script for you right now that you can use. Nice, or if you would like to know more. It is nice or if you would you like to know more?
And like when they say, when they say like when you have somebody who sees your stories 3 times in a row, or
Yeah.
like then what do you say to them or how do you reach out to them,
Yeah.
even if they just view your story or love it?
Yep. Here's an example of
Okay.
what I say. And I use this all the time. So you fill in the person's name. So, hi, Susie. Thank you so much for liking, loving, commenting, make it whatever is what they did on my post or my story or whatever it is. I really appreciate your encouragement. You could go on to say, I'm doing something new and it's nice to know that you like it or that you see it or whatever. Or you could just say, I really appreciate your encouragement. Not sure if you were just being nice. You could say that. Not sure if you were just being kind, or if you are curious to know more. Would you like to know more about what I'm doing? Question mark. How does that feel for you, Krista?
I mean, I feel like if that is on like an Amari post, I feel like that is amazing and would be great.
Yes.
I feel like I get my most views and stuff is when I am posting like a picture of me with my family or something fun with my kids or my animals. And I feel like those are the posts where I struggle to then get to the next step into the
Right.
DMs. So what I've been trying to do with my stories is I'll do like 2 or 3 family ones, then a couple of Mari ones.
Correct.
And I see those numbers then go down
Yeah.
compared to the family ones. So it's just how, and I mean, how do we keep the numbers up like on those Amari ones, or will that kind of come with the consistency?
I'd have to take a look at, so let's go take a look at what you're posting exactly to be able to say which way it's going to go. But I would just look for any way to ask a question that brings back to identifying a need. For example, if you had a great time 4th of July with your family and you were talking about how last year you were too sick to do that, I'm just making that up, I don't know, and you got a lot of engagement with that, then I would be asking the question for them of, hey, I really appreciate that you liked my post about my family and 4th of July. That story is so true and real for me. Have you ever felt like you're missing things with your family? Like, look to take what the moral of the story of your post was and ask them a question about that for them. That's not an Amari direct question, but it's going to lead you down the path to something Amari related. Either they've been struggling and they're too sick to do things like that with their family, or they know someone that's too sick to do things with their family like that. Or you could even just say, hey, I really appreciate, you could even just do this with some of the ones that you feel like you're playing ping pong with, that you've been like, they're loving on each other, but it's not really going anywhere. And you could just say to them, hey, I'm, always working on ways to build my business. I'm kind of throwing this out there in a haphazard way, but I'm always looking for ways to improve. And I would love your feedback. You've been such a good friend to me, posting and liking and commenting on my post. I'd love to know more about what interests you. What is it about what I'm sharing that interests you? You could also ask them, what are 5 words or what are 3 words? What are 3 words that come to mind for you when you see my content? Like, who am I to you? What does that look like? What does that feel like? And you could just say, I'm working on my branding for my business. And that might lead you down a path to more business conversations. And eventually the dance is going to have to be very specific. You're just going to have to be really specific about, you've been following me. We've been connected for a while. I love what you're doing. You love what I'm doing. You've never asked me anything about my business or the products I'm using or my health journey or fill in the blank. You've never, we haven't talked much about this. Are you interested in knowing more about this, about blank? Are you interested in knowing more about Happy Juice or whatever? You can just do something, ask something like that.
And
How do those-
that might be part of my thing too, is because I feel like I haven't did a lot of those posts because I've kind of been scared up to this point. But actually last night I started writing a draft of a post because I took a picture of me and my family walking to the fireworks. And I'm like, a year ago, I wouldn't have been walking. I would have been looking for any ride I could, so I started it. So I should do that post today. So I think that will help, is doing more of those. I always kind of feel like, with law of attraction, I don't like to put the negative stuff out there, but at the same time, I need to start doing it because that's what's going to connect with people. So yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah. The number one thing that we're doing is creating relatability. And although we might share the birth of a grandchild or the graduation of a child or a birthday party for a kid, and we share those events that happen in our life, that's not as relatable as the problems and the pain that we've overcome. The problems and the pain is where the relatability is. And that's the number one thing you're selling more than anything else is you're selling, I'm relatable. I can relate to you, my target audience person, because I've been through this. This is what it felt like. This is how I felt. This is what I believed. This is what I overcame. And now I'm doing better. And that's the relatability is the best connection that you can make. So just remind yourself when you're creating your content, is it relatable? Am I sharing something that someone that's my person can relate to? How do I word this in a way that they can relate to it? And like we talked about, there may be times that you post things about your family that are events like, you know, my son got this from his graduation, or my daughter did this, or, you know, whatever. It's very difficult to take family events and take that event by itself and turn it into a conversation about Happy Juice or about business. And that's why you're struggling with it, because there's not a connection. But when you take the story of how are you doing something with your family, or how is your family doing something with you that is different, then that becomes relatable. I'm going to give you a great example that's similar to what you're talking about. So my son goes to Michigan State University. Last year was a shooting there. When I posted that I was so thankful that he was safe, there wasn't a business or a, you know, product sale that I would get out of that post. I just truly posted because that's who I am. I had a lot of friends and family contacting me, wondering how he was doing. And so I'm trying to get rid of this light, but I cannot get rid of the light. So I could not, so have that expectation. Just have the expectation that there will be content that you create that's just revealing more of you. And content that you create that reveals you is good, but you also have to create content that's very specific, created for relatability about a problem that you've overcome for others to want to overcome. And I think you're spot on, Krista, that there's a rhythm to it. Like maybe it's 3 posts out of the week are revealing more of you, revealing what book you're reading, although book reading can a lot of times turn into business conversation, but revealing what you're cooking, although that can turn into a conversation about wellness or healthiness, but revealing some artwork that you like, or revealing a quote that you like. You know, sometimes it's revealing, but then other times it's relatability, like what we were talking about describing how you couldn't have walked to the fireworks thing last year. And be sure to lead with the negative. I mean, that's what sells. That's what gets attention. That's like, you know, that's how the whole news system is built. People stop and read the pain that they're in, not the goodness that you're feeling and you're going through. So be sure to lead with that. Renee, I think you had some comments on some of that too. I saw some in the chat. I personally looked around the office, started asking about them and what they're up to, and shared that I have a boost they need for X. You want to talk a little bit more about that, Renee?
Yeah, sure. So can you hear me okay, or do you want me to shut off
Yeah.
my AC?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I was just saying, so I was in the dealership and he had a sign that said, anything you do with full on purpose, right? And I said, so what are you doing? Because I could tell he worked out. I saw what he was drinking. It was full of crap, of course. And so I just said, what are you up to? And he said, oh, actually, I'm going to do a 24-hour and I'm hoping to get 100 laps in, but I really want 110. I said, oh, well, okay. So I have what you need for that, and we'll get you to 110. And so I made up a cart and I sent it to him and I checked in, and then I'll check in again. Because of the sale, I'll resend a cart, which for some reason, I don't know why I can't find my cart, but I'll figure it out. And then I'll resend it and say, there's more of a savings if you want to grab it before Friday, because he said Friday's when he gets paid. That would cover his mood and his sleep. So, yeah, so that's what I'm up to with him. And it's really, for me, is closing. I struggle in closing the sale at this point.
Yeah. Now, by the way, electrolytes might be something that he may be interested in for his cart for rehydration. And you know what? I also want you guys to be okay with, especially for a stranger.
Mm.
Many times a stranger is more comfortable buying one product than buying a pack. And it just really depends on what they're looking for. So just know that that's also an option that you can give him that kind of way out too, that, hey, let me know if you want to make any changes to this cart.
Yeah, I did that this last time we spoke. I just call him.
Yeah.
And he said, well, everything in there is what I need. I need to cover my sleep all the way to being
Oh,
awake.
that's so good.
So, yeah,
Good.
so I was happy
Good.
about that. So now for me, it's about, okay, it's that important. His 110 is that important, right? Because that 24 hours is coming up. So how do I close that gap so that he's a yes on Friday when he gets paid to anything else? Over anything else.
What has he said his need is? Like I mean, I understand he's trying to reach the 110, but what are you offering
good-
that he needs?
His gut health, which is, so I offer the protein. He works out all the time.
Uh-huh.
So it's his protein, the pep, he has all these energy drinks in his office, and I was like, cause I wouldn't do it myself. That's the relatability, is that I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that myself in any way, shape, or form. So, and then I got the sleep on board, and I got the happy juice on board so that his overall mood is stabilized and healthy and all that. And yeah, so that's what's in there.
Yeah, the only way that I could think of to handle that with him is now the sale ends tomorrow, Thursday.
Right.
So I would just be reaching back out to him like
Yeah.
each day, because of the sale, and saying, hey, I don't want you to miss out on 20% off. Let me, what question, don't say, let me know what questions you have. Ask,
No, right.
what questions do you have?
Yeah.
And remind him of, I know you want to hit the 110 by Friday. And you have, and you've got, these things.
It's
that
like
you
2
need to
weeks
improve.
away. It's like 2 weeks away.
Okay.
He's doing a fundraiser. It's his own personal goal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The 110. So
Yeah.
And it literally says, I said, you literally have a sign that says, if you're gonna do anything, do it with full on passion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If, so he said to you, I get paid on Friday, I can't order before then. Is that what he said to you?
mhm.
Well, so, a couple of things come to mind for me.
Mhm.
Does he not have a credit card that he could put it on in order to
Right.
save the money, the 20%?
Yep.
Because because Friday the sale is over.
Right.
So if he wants the sale, and if you think that matters to him, sometimes that doesn't matter to people.
Right.
But if you think the sale matters to him, either you need to get creative to figure out how to help him. Like, for example, if you feel like you know him and you know where he works, that you would be willing to pay for it for him and then him pay you back. But I wouldn't do that unless I really knew somebody. But I also wonder if that's a smokescreen of sales resistance, of
Right.
saying I get paid on Friday, just to basically say, I'm going to miss out on the sale. I'm really not interested.
Right.
So that's why I go back to, does he think he needs this? I know you think he needs
He
this.
told me he did.
So then I would go back to what he told you that he said he needed and why. And I would remind him, I hate to see you miss out on the sale. I know you said you get paid Friday. Is there not a way, because the sale's over tomorrow night, is there not a way that you could put this on a credit card or pay for it in some way? Or what could you pay me today to get
Right.
the order placed for you and then pay me the rest on Friday or something like that with him?
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. And then my question in the beginning of the chat box was, if I haven't been posting a lot on social, there's a lot of life stuff going on. So like I've been doing with him, I've been talking to people out in the world. So my world isn't necessarily on social right now. So it's like, how do I blend into posting without still feeling like I have to post every day, or you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Well, you do not have to post every day, unless you were really trying to master TikTok or Reels or something like that, and then you need to post more than once a day.
I don't
Um,
need to be, I don't want to be
what-
any more overwhelmed than I already am, you know?
How often a week could you post? 3 times a
Well,
day, 3 times a
like-
week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I would just identify what can you do? What do you
Okay.
feel you could do within your schedule? And then I would plan to do that. And
Okay.
even the things that we have, like the 7-day launch post or the 7-day Facebook post or the 30-day prompts from Cassie, which are all in that document that I shared with you guys.
Oh, yeah,
Even
exactly.
those kinds of things, you don't
Okay.
really have to do consecutive days. If you're just
Okay.
at a place in life right now where you cannot post each day, then just when you can do it on the first
Okay.
day and on the second day. And it's up to you, but I would say, Renee, part of the success on social media is to be a good friend. So
Right.
even if you're not posting, just be careful that your consumption of social media includes reciprocity of loving on other people, liking their post, commenting on their post,
Yeah.
and not these people, not Amari people,
No,
but
right.
prospect people.
Yeah. Got that.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Thank
Because
you.
that'll help you with your algorithm too. Okay, great.
Thanks.
So Dalia, I know this is one of your first times on this call. It's nice to
Yes.
meet you through Kathy.
Nice-
Thanks for joining us
Yes,
today.
nice meeting. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you in your social media journey? What questions do you have?
So I'm I've used social media for a while, but very sparingly and very just personal stuff. Once in a blue moon, it wasn't me. And now I try to post something every day, especially on my stories and Instagram and Facebook. I'll make my happy juice. I'll post that. I'll put some quotes. My hang up per se, similar to what Krista was saying, is that I have never been in a habit of staying in touch with people, right? So now building that relationship and that feels fake to me, because at the end of the day, I know I want to talk about Amari,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I am. So I've been doing a little bit of it. I've been to people that it's not that I don't care, people that I don't have that relationship already. I don't have a problem mentoring to them about the product, but I know it's not the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is similar to I feel like and maybe just my excuse and my own little hangups. I don't have a good script. And when I say script, I don't mean like word for word, but like in my mind, it's overwhelming sometimes within all these calls to talk about the product and talk about the business. To me, I can relate more to the product. My son and I are heavy product users. So I'm more comfortable talking about the product and the benefits. And then I slowly throw in also the business opportunity. But I feel like I need that short 20-second elevator speech, killer paragraph. That's where I am. So that's what I'm working through.
Okay, well, I am going to drop in the chat here you may have already seen it. It's just a link to an onboarding link tree that we have that we use on the team that kind of helps you organize those thoughts as you're getting started. And there's one section there at the top that is there's a daily checklist, and you're already involved in something like that with Project Freedom, but this one may give you some perspective. But it also is a your story blurb. There's your story blurb. I would just encourage you to take a look at that and work on that for you. And what that guides you through is how to talk about what you've overcome. Like, what are the negative, how did it feel? What are the pain points of how bad were you feeling? How miserable were you? What did that feel like? How did that make you react? Like you couldn't get out of bed, or you couldn't walk or hike, or, you couldn't do things that you love. Really understand what it is about how you used to feel. because that's where your ideal person is. Your ideal person is not where you are feeling better. You're like 6 months down the road from your ideal person. Your ideal person is stuck in not feeling well or struggling. And so the more you can find the adjectives and the words that describe that, the more you can use those in your content to be more relatable. So do you mind if I pull up your Facebook page? Do you mind if I do that?
Sure,
Okay.
not at all.
1 second.
Go ahead.
Let's do that.
It's just my name.
Yeah, we do that a lot here on this call, so that we can help each other, because sometimes someone else can see something that you look at 100 times and don't see.
Yeah.
So let's,
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does it matter? So my Facebook, my profile is personal, and I have it open to public. So everything I post is always public, and I
Yeah.
get a lot of scary, weird people. But
Yeah.
anyway, does it matter having that kind of a Facebook profile versus, I guess it's a business one where people just follow you without having to be approved?
You absolutely want to have your personal page as your most active page. Business pages are pretty much worthless nowadays. It would require you to build a whole following up in a business sense, and that would just take a lot of time and effort, and also just not as much engagement. So you are right to have your page public. And all of us, anybody out on social media gets, unsolicited people wanting to connect with us. And I am just very quick that if somebody friend requests me, or starts commenting on my stuff, and they are not someone that is connected with anyone that I know or any group that I'm in, I delete them and block them.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Yes.
Yeah.
I've been doing
Just get used to doing that. That's kind of like if you owned a cupcake shop and somebody's going to walk in, you just can't control the public of who's coming in. You just happen to see it here. Those are your sons?
So those are my sons.
So handsome. Good for
Thank
you, Mom.
My younger one, the one on the right, he's actually here. I signed him up as a partner. So
Good. That's
He-
wonderful.
he takes
Good.
the Amari product actually helped a lot of skin condition. He had
That's
a lot of
so
skin
wonderful.
issues. So
That's so wonderful. And I was going to tell you guys an example about my son earlier. I said he went to Michigan State, and that when I post about, the shooting, it wasn't really anything related to business. But you're going to see me post this week a story about my son. It's a picture of my son that I've probably posted 100 times. And it's a picture of him walking along the marsh. And it was about us having a conversation about his medications on ADHD. And you'll see I use a very effective strategy, which is I put in quotes something he said to me. He said something about, I'm not sad anymore. I said, tell me more about what you're talking about. He said, and I kind of do the quotes of the conversation back and forth. That's a very effective tool to use that gets people's attention, because we are voyeurs and we love to listen in and eavesdrop on other people's conversations. So even if it's in quotes in writing, we think that we're eavesdropping on a conversation and our mind thinks that's cool. So, feel free to use that. For those of you that have conversations with your kids or your grandkids or your neighbor or the person at the gas station or whatever, and they said something that kind of caught your attention and can turn into a conversation about the things that you care about. Remember, when you're creating a post, you're not creating a post to have a sales link in it. The only people that works for is people that are influencers that have like 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 followers. Unless that's you, that's not me. Unless that's you, that's not the strategy. Their strategy doesn't work for us. They have to do what their strategy is. They've built a brand and a following. We are building a brand and a following. So you're not the kind of person, and neither am I, that can create a post that just says, like, my post goal is not to explain in my feed is not to explain that my son uses these products and here's my link. Like, that is not what to do. You don't ever want to share any links. You're not trying to sell products in your feed. In stories, you can be a little bit bolder. And again, this is just the algorithm of social media. So in stories, you can be bolder. I don't know how many of you saw the story that I did yesterday about sleep, where I talked about over-the-counter melatonin is not good for you. And then I explained why melatonin is not good for you over the counter. And then I explained what are some things that you can do for sleep that cost nothing, like reducing screen time, reducing sugar, and taking supplements. And then what are the supplements I would recommend? I've got dozens of people to follow up with from that story. If I had tried to do that story in my feed, it would not have hit the same way, because it's a different animal and it operates and functions differently. So let's jump in and share a little bit. You guys jump in the comments and tell Sedalia what you like about her Facebook page. What are some things that you notice that are really good and are good things that you're glad she's doing? So
Laura, sorry, quick question. You just mentioned before about putting the story in your feed. So you did what, like a reel?
No. I was saying what I did in my stories would not have worked in my feed.
Oh, and stories, like just for the 1 day, the 24. Got it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. Okay.
Yeah. I do sometimes put reels in my feed, but they have very little engagement.
Okay.
In order to master Reels and TikTok, for example, you have to be very clear on your target audience, and you have to be creating content 2 or 3 times a day. And you have to be willing to not have any relationships with any of the people reaching out to you. Like, you're not going to have a friendly conversation with them. You're not going to be able to ask them any questions. It's not for me. Now, if anybody's on this call and you're like, I really want to do that, I want to do TikTok, and you don't have the training that we've provided free on that, let me know. I can get you free training on how to master that, but it's not for me. It is for some, it's not for me. So just know that, and don't get frustrated if you feel like you're doing some things in Reels and not getting results. So first of all, I love your profile photo. Beautiful photo of you smiling. That is outstanding. That is so excellent. That's great. And your banner photo with your boys is wonderful too. That's great. What I noticed is you don't have an about me statement there. So I would just encourage you to look at an I help statement, like I help professionals with stress and burnout, or I help burned out professionals feel better, or I help, I don't know who you are and who you help, but spend some time thinking about that, brainstorm with Kathy about it, and she can help you figure out an I help statement. What you don't have, and I'm glad you don't have, and I don't recommend it, is you don't want to put a link to Amari. You don't want to put that you're a wellness partner with Amari. It's just not helpful. It ends up causing people to leave Facebook and go look at Amari, and then you lose them one way or another. So you don't need to do that anywhere on your social media. So that's good. I love it that your posts are public. I'd love to see your face in these videos that are you mixing up.
I have some that I'm talking and
good.
I try to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I see that one. Good. That's great. Good. Here's the other thing that I would say is I just want to see more of your face. Like you holding up the carrot cake recipe. By the way, I use Epicure too. And I love Epicure. I love their gyro recipe is amazing too. So I haven't tried the carrot cake one, but I'll have to try that. So that is good. The other thing is I see that you went on a hike or some kind of trip recently, and your friends posted pictures onto your page, which is fine. But what I would love to see is a picture of you on this hike or with this group or whatever, where you tell a story about, what was there ever a time in life where you weren't doing things like that? And what was going on at the time in life where you weren't doing things like that? Was it your work schedule? Was it your stress level? Was it inflammation? And, has there ever been anything that kept you from doing that? I'd love to see you do a picture of you and then write about, I used to not be able to do this, or I never thought I'd be able to do this again, or, and then describe what it used to feel like, and that you found a regimen that worked for you to feel better, and just keep it general. I found a regimen that worked for me to feel better. And now I did a 2-mile hike and I wasn't even out of breath. I don't know, but I'm kind of making it up of what your story, when I say story, I'm literally meaning the story that you're telling, not the Facebook application of stories. So I don't know what your message would be, but I would love to see more of that. And that's what I would say in general from you, is share more about your life, about I used to feel this way, now I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, actually, because I'm in the past, prior to Amari, my social media posting was very limited and very scarce. Now I went camping for 2 days. Those are the pictures. And I got home. I was like, I didn't even do a video of me mixing my happy juice while camping. Like, all this stuff just came to my mind that I could have shared. And I didn't, because I'm just not in that mindset. So I guess I'll get there. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, that's okay. I'm going to share with you guys a content calendar, for example. Now, this is just a basic one. You'll see in other places, you got lots of love over here in the feedback you can change the settings on your posts, who sees what, public or friends. Digital creator. Krista, yes. I mean, it is an option to change your profile to be digital creator. I've had mixed results with it. So I'm kind of like not sure whether it helps or not for folks, but digital creator is something. I just put a link for you guys. That's a free Amari tool that just gives you an idea of, like, each day of the week, what is something that you could post about. Now, you don't have to do these 3 things, but let's look at Wednesday. Share a business win. Like, I don't know, maybe you are coming to an overview about the business tonight. Lindsay, Paige, and I are doing an overview about the Amari business tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And maybe your post is something like, I never thought I would do one of those businesses. And that's kind of your headline. And then underneath it, you talk about, I stumbled upon this amazing, the products that made me feel like myself, that made me feel more like myself. And it opened my mind to a community that's supportive, in one that's like no other. So I'm going to an event tonight to hear more, period. Like, you don't have to give them the link to the event. You don't have to say who's speaking at the event, but you do a headline of, I never thought I would do one of those businesses. I found a product regimen recommended by a friend that made me feel like myself again, that helped me overcome blah, 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 blah. Like, I couldn't get out of bed, or I didn't have energy, or I wasn't motivated, or I was irritable all the time, or I was struggling with menopause, whatever the blanks are that you were struggling with. And then with it came this supportive community that I realized I was missing in my life. And I'm looking forward to taking the next step and attending an event to hear more tonight. I mean, you could even do that if you're already in the business. Like, that doesn't matter. The point is that you're talking about something about the business, but you're not trying to sell them on $10,000 or anything like that. You're just being authentically you. Tell a story about the community and connections you've made on your Amari journey. Today is a great way to take a screenshot of us together on a call. And you can post, when it's a screenshot of a gallery view of a call, it's better in your stories of Facebook and Instagram, but you can post this in your stories on Facebook and Instagram and say, I love our community. I was on a social media call. I never got support like this before. There's a lot of people out there that are not getting support from where they are, that might be curious to know, what are you doing that you're getting this kind of support? Maybe 5 misconceptions about the microbiome. Share a testimonial you heard from somebody. That's just an example of Wednesday. Thursday, share what's in your kitchen drawer. Talk about, what are the tools that you use in your kitchen drawer? What are some that you don't use? You could do a live video about that. But the point is, are there products that you have that you're using or not using? Does your audience have products on their shelf that they're not using, supplements they're not using? And what if they could replace those with products that actually worked better? That's how you could tie that into an Amari message from something as innate as a kitchen drawer. What are some of your favorite things? Books, snacks, recipes. These are just ideas. Again, I would not share an Amari promotion in the feed, but you could put something like that in stories. So this is just giving you some ideas there. There is also, Sedalia, have you done the 7-day launch post yet?
No, I have not. I have not. Where's the 7? I'm not sure I'm aware of where
Yeah.
it is.
You can find it here at that link tree. I'm going to put that in there.
Yeah, you put it in there. I just need to paste that.
It's under that link tree. It's under attraction marketing. But that's a great way to do it. Also in this social media stuff that I shared with you guys at the beginning here, I'm going to drop that in again too. And that is in that document there, I have the 7-day launch post. I also have the 7-day happy juice post. I also have the 30-day prompts from Cassie Woods. There's a short video about just creating over the next 30 days. What is content that you can create? She gives you 30 days of what you could be saying. She gives you an example and you can tailor it to what she helps you pick out for yourself that you want to focus on. So very good. So yeah, I would say that, and just be sure, like here, even where you posted, you just make sure that you always have a photo of you. Always have a photo of you. You'll get more people that stop and look at what you're saying when it's a photo of you.
I have a question. So a couple of my reels got one got like 3,000 views and a couple
Okay.
got almost 2,000 views. But what do I do with that? Just keep doing them?
Yeah, it is. I mean, what was the reel about?
Actually, funny enough, those are the ones that I just had a couple minutes just talking about me.
Okay.
Just
What were you talking about?
one was about finding this community and finding this product.
Okay.
If you go into, can you just click on, go on the top and
Reels.
do you see my, oh yeah, my reels in there, and just go down, see that one, that's the one that has 1,000 right on the fourth one.
Okay.
I think that one was about me after camping. Just because I was a little apprehensive going camping, because of the drive, it was far or whatever. But if you go down, you'll see some of them, they have, that's my dog, my morning walk. And
And I
so
see you got 964 on this one.
yeah.
That's great.
So I mean, is anything else that I can do better, or what do I do?
So
with
the only thing that you can try to look for is what is the pattern or the hashtags that you're using that's getting that kind of uplift, and then begin. If you're getting that kind of connection in Reels, it's absolutely okay to put a link in Reels to what you're recommending for people to buy. But I will tell you that when you're trying, let me tell you our most popular Reels people. Our most popular Reels folks, one is selling a ton of kids' mood. Another one is just one product. Because the problem is, it's really hard to take a stranger from a cute video and get them to buy $150 on a subscription. They just don't, the relationship's not there. And you can get them to click and they'll watch it because they like the song or they're kind of curious about what you're doing. But the conversion is very difficult to a product pack. So if you want to try to turn your Reels into an order of something, focus on offering them one product that you have to have, that you recommend for them, and then have the shopping cart link created, the template for that product that they could buy that one product. like it's mood or it's sleep or, and then you just have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So if you do a video about mood and you get 1,000 likes on it, then you need to go tomorrow and do another one about mood and do basically the same thing, just a different outfit, but make some of the same points. And then the next day, do another video about mood. It's not about coming up with something creative and wildly different every day. It's about saying the same thing over and over again. And that's how that works a little bit more effectively.
Yeah, mine is Happy Juice. That's what I drink every day. That's, I love that. I mean, I take a lot of the other products as well, but I'm kind of focusing on that.
Yeah, it's just going to be hard to I'm just telling you, it's going to set an expectation that you may not get any sales from the reels.
Okay.
You might get views and maybe they like it and maybe they ask you a question about it, but it's very, it's harder to get a sale from it. But you can keep trying with it. Just set an expectation that just understand that people clicking on a link and spending $150 is very hard, a hard way for someone to sell it. Lindsay is actually the only person I know that's really effective in doing that. All the other influencers that we have are selling a single product, not a pack.
Okay. Okay.
And Lindsay's got a doctorate degree, and that's why she's able to do that, because she builds on her doctorate degree and her information around science. But
Right.
So I would just look at maybe one piece of Happy Juice. Like, what if it were edge only? Or what if it were energy only for like, $40 or something? Try to start doing your reels where you can talk about Happy Juice, but maybe your real message, like your focus message, is on one product. Like, start with energy and just talk about what makes this energy different and why you like it, and that it's caffeine free or sugar free, or that it's got exactly the right amount of sugar in it to rehydrate, no more, no less. Talk about that, and then give a link to get the energy product, and then tell them how much it is per serving. Like, I think the energy product's like around $1 per serving. So, that's the kind of stuff that somebody needs to know if they're going to buy and they don't really know you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. You're welcome. Okay, guys. Hey, we are going to wrap up here, and I will be back again next week. Are there any questions that we want to be sure to go over? Thank you, Sedalia, for being willing to let us work through your content today. Any other questions, Renee? I think you had your hand raised at one time.
So I just had a thought about a post. I don't know if it's appropriate or not. And then I, for the life of me, can't figure out which hashtags are growing my views. Like, I don't know how because I 99% of the time use the same ones, and then I can't tell. I don't know how, like, just literally go through each hashtag and see if it's a random one that caught, you know what I mean? Because it's like always me and Maisie, or Maisie's Days. That's my dog. She's my therapy dog, stuff like that.
What's your last name, Renee? And where do you post more, on Facebook or Instagram?
Probably Instagram to Facebook.
Okay. How do I find you on Instagram?
Oh, Swan Goddess 37.
Okay, got it. All right. So here, let me share the screen here. So tell me remind me your question again.
About reels. So there's reels in there that have hit lots of views, and those I can't figure out which hashtags I've used that have created a situation. They get a lot of views, but not a lot of likes and comments. That's where I'm at.
I don't know of any way to reverse figure out people
Yeah.
found me from this hashtag.
Okay.
I know you can pull up a hashtag and see what has more followings than others. There's probably an app that you can use if you want to research. Just go into Google and research I want to track how my views are connected with hashtags, and there's probably an app that you
Yeah.
can use to do something like that.
Okay,
But I don't know of just a layman's way to do it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, because you had said check out hashtags, so I just was wondering if that was a thing. Okay,
Yeah. I try to use the most popular hashtags because of the assumption that the ones that are more popular, more people are, are
yeah,
following.
so I usually pull anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million. I would imagine that's where my people are at. I'm not positive about it, but that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Do you use a hashtag that has millions on it?
Sure. Yeah. I use
Oh, you do?
hashtags
Okay.
in Reels and I use hashtags in Instagram. I usually don't use much hashtags in Facebook.
Right.
Unless I'm using it for a message for myself.
Okay. And then, so, and then I also at the top put in helping the chronic patient because it's really, I'm helping the medically burned out patient is what I figured out
Mm-hmm.
just recently.
Good. All right, good. Yeah, that looks really good. I love the way that you're very specific on who you're helping.
Okay.
Good. And just keep telling that story. Focusing on, you've been here, I think, for where we go over the PDLF map of the pain, desire, language, and fears.
What?
Have you been here for that?
No.
Okay, I'll drop that in the chat for you. If you go to this, and anybody can pull this up, this link tree, it has all of our social media recordings, our recent ones. There is one that's about your niche or your ideal client.
Yep.
And in it, Andrea Clark, one of our top leaders here at Amari, covers the PDLF map. And that document is in that link tree as well to help
Okay.
you with how you're creating your content so you're speaking directly to that person.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Renee. Okay, Sedalia, yes. What else?
Really quick, early in the call, you mentioned something about electrolytes.
Mhm.
Does any of our products?
Yes. Yes, it's a Kyani product that's in
Okay.
our overall product line, and it's one of the ones on sale for 20% off right now. It's electrolytes. There's a coconut lime, and there's also an apple one.
Okay,
apple berry
awesome.
or
That's,
something.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to know because I hadn't read anything about the
Yeah.
electrolytes, but I don't know much about the Kyanic products yet. So thank you.
Yeah, and you usually can get those with your subscribe and save rewards too. So it's a great way for you to be able, or on bundle and save. So it's a great way for you to try some of the Kyani products. Yeah, I love them too. My husband is obsessed with the Apple one. I keep them out and around for him everywhere. All right, guys, have a great day. Elena, so good to see you. Where's your Be Happy sign? Did you get it? Yay! Elena won the Be Happy sign from me, the neon sign. Yay! All right. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you next week.